Imagine waking up tomorrow completely undetectable to the human eye.
Like completely invisible.
Completely. No one can see you. I mean, your immediate instinct might be to, start planning your ultimate bank heist. Or maybe finally finding out what your coworkers say when you leave the room.
Oh, definitely. That's the classic fantasy, right?
Right. But before you get too excited, consider this. Every motion sensor in your office still trips when you walk past.
Oh, yeah.
Every thermal camera at the bank still tracks your body heat. Every door you open still moves. And you still have to physically dodge distracted drivers who will absolutely run you over because they literally cannot see you.
It sounds exhausting, honestly.
It really does. So today, we are cracking open a highly confidential internal editorial report. It's a teaser for a highly anticipated English language debut novel.
Yeah, and it's called The Man Who Vanished, right? By Ghassan Jawhar.
Exactly. And our mission today for this deep dive is to explore how the author takes this classic, somewhat playful science fiction trope of invisibility and just completely weaponizes it.
Weaponizes is the perfect word for it.
Yeah, we are not just talking about a cool superpower here.
Oh.
We're exploring what the report describes as a profound moral laboratory, one that's designed to test the absolute limits of the human soul.
You know, you listening right now might be thinking, oh, great, another Invisible Man story. We've seen this in like a dozen comic books.
Oh, sure.
But what this editorial report really highlights is how fiercely grounded this narrative is. I mean, this isn't about magical rings or spells.
Right.
It's a deep psychological interrogation. Jawhar is using invisibility as a very deliberate literary tool to entirely remove what the report brilliantly calls the mirror of social judgment.
The mirror of social judgment. I love that phrasing.
Isn't it great? The whole premise hinges on this terrifying question, like what actually remains of your fundamental human integrity when you strip away every single social consequence?
Okay, let's unpack this. Because reading through this report, I was really struck by how it describes the book. It calls it a mind-bending mix of H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man and Patrick Susskind's Perfume.
Yes, that comparison is wild.
It is. It's dragging this whole concept down into the darkest, most intimate corners of human nature. But I want to pause on that phrase you just brought up, the mirror of social judgment.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier, trying to visualize it for myself. Think about how you act when you are driving alone in a car.
Oh, okay.
Like a car with completely tinted windows. You are in your own little bubble.
Oh, I totally know what you mean.
Right. Maybe you're singing at the top of your lungs, picking your teeth, scratching yourself, maybe even screaming in frustration. You are completely uninhibited.
Because no one can see you.
Exactly. But the second you park, step out of that car, and start walking down a crowded sidewalk, your posture instantly changes. You fix your face. You conform to the rules of the sidewalk.
You definitely do.
So it makes me wonder, do our morals actually change when we think no one can see us? Or does it just reveal who we really are beneath the performance?
Well, the tint rolls down and the mirror of social judgment is thrust right back in your face.
Yeah.
You instantly remember you are being watched and you just recalibrate.
Right.
What's fascinating here is how the author answers that exact question about human morality. The report notes that invisibility in this novel acts as the ultimate test of the soul.
Because there's no one watching.
Exactly. It grants the protagonist this ultimate permission to become a lesser man. I mean, we often hear the old cliche that power corrupts, right?
Sure, absolutely.
But Jawhar's moral laboratory suggests something far more unsettling. Power doesn't necessarily corrupt, rather, it exposes.
Oh, wow. It exposes.
Yeah. The total removal of that societal mirror reveals what the text calls the hidden heart of the protagonist.
Which kind of implies that the polite fiction of society is the only thing holding us together.
Pretty much.
Like, if you can take whatever you want, listen in on any private conversation, and just walk into any restricted room without anyone ever stopping you.
Right, because they literally can't.
Yeah, the only thing keeping you in check is your own internal compass.
And we have to ask ourselves how much of that internal compass is actually internal, you know?
That's a scary thought.
It is. For most people, their moral compass is heavily calibrated by the magnetic pull of external consequences. It's the fear of being caught, the fear of public shame, the threat of prison.
So take that away, and what happens?
When you turn off that magnetic pull, the needle on the compass just spins wildly. The core philosophical premise of this book really hinges on the death of accountability. We get to watch a human being try to navigate right and wrong in a total vacuum.
I have a hard time buying that, though.
Really? Why?
Well, I mean, if you're invisible, you inherently have the ultimate advantage over everyone else.
Right, that's the usual take.
So how is that a struggle? The outline specifically refers to his daily existence as a logistical terror, which almost sounds contradictory. If no one can see you coming, where is the terror?
Yeah. Let me stop you right there, because that assumption is exactly the fantasy trope that Jawhar is dismantling.
Oh, okay.
You are still thinking of invisibility as like a magical cloak that makes existence effortless.
Yeah, I guess I am.
But the editorial teaser points out that Jawhar has an extensive background in digital systems and telecommunications.
Interesting.
He isn't writing fantasy. He brings a really distinctive lens on modern surveillance culture to the table. The invisibility in The Man Who Vanished is governed by what the report describes as brutal physics.
Wait, hold on. Brutal physics.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean in practice?
Yeah.
I mean, if he's completely invisible, light is just passing around him, right?
Right. Let's break down the science of it. The report specifically mentions the real-world ethical implications of emerging technologies referenced in the novel, like quantum stealth.
Quantum stealth. That sounds like a video game.
It does, but it's a real concept based on metamaterials that militaries are actually developing today.
Big, really?
Yeah. These materials are engineered to bend light waves around an object, essentially rendering it invisible to the naked eye. But you still have mass.
Oh, I see.
Right. You still leave footprints in the dirt. You still displace air when you walk into a room, which creates drafts. And most importantly, you still have a thermal signature.
Because of body heat.
Exactly. A 98.6-degree human body radiates heat.
So he's not fighting wizards or something. He's fighting infrared cameras in corporate lobbies.
Yes.
He's fighting facial recognition software that flags an anomaly when a seemingly empty space registers a thermal mass.
He is fighting the entire modern infrastructure. Just think about the sheer physics of navigating a modern city today.
Oh, man.
Automatic doors that rely on motion sensors, the LiDAR systems on autonomous cars constantly scanning the street.
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about self-driving cars.
If you are invisible, a self-driving car's camera won't see you, but its laser array will detect a mass, and the conflicting data could cause an accident right in front of you.
That is wild.
You're trying to hide your physical weight and heat signature while dodging the all-seeing eye of a surveillance state.
That reframes the entire concept for me. The logistical terror is literally just trying to walk down a sidewalk without triggering a smart alarm, or getting bumped into by a distracted pedestrian looking at their phone.
Exactly.
You are constantly tense, constantly calculating angles, cameras, and physical space. It sounds mentally exhausting.
It's completely unsustainable, and this raises an important question about our current reality.
How so?
By forcing the protagonist to survive the brutal physics of being unseen, the book uses this logistical terror to aggressively critique our hyper-monitored digital age. Jawhar is highlighting just how impossible it is to truly disappear today.
Because there's cameras everywhere.
Everywhere. We're constantly emitting data, constantly being recorded. The effort required to become a blank spot in that massive digital and physical surveillance net requires a level of hypervigilance that would break a normal human mind.
And because he is burning so much physical and mental energy just trying not to get hit by a bus, his brain has no bandwidth left for normal human processing.
Yes, I see.
And that sheer exhaustion is what cracks the door open to the psychological side effects the report talks about. I mean, surviving the physics is only half the battle.
Yeah, the physical part is just the beginning.
The technological reality of being entirely unseen inevitably forces the protagonist to experience the world through entirely different senses, which leads to a profound psychological break.
The editorial report uses a remarkably evocative phrase for this state of being. It describes the protagonist as living as a walking breach in reality.
A walking breach in reality.
Yeah, and that existence brings about a crushing spectral loneliness. He isn't just a ghost. The report says he feels like an obstacle in his own life.
Wow. I want to try to visualize that, because feeling like an obstacle in your own life is a devastating concept.
It really is.
Imagine a scenario based on the vibe of this text. The protagonist is standing in the living room of someone he deeply loves, maybe a family member who is grieving his disappearance.
Okay, yeah.
He is standing 2 feet away from them. He wants desperately to comfort them, to just put a hand on their shoulder.
But he can't.
Right, because he knows that if he does, if an invisible hand suddenly presses down on this grieving person's shoulder, they won't feel comforted. They will be absolutely terrified.
It would be pure horror for them.
It would be paranormal horror.
Mm-hmm.
He acts as a spectator behind a one-way mirror, completely unable to touch or interact with the world he wants to protect.
That is the ultimate isolation. You can see everyone, but you cannot be seen. You can't make eye contact to establish empathy.
Right.
And because of that complete severing of visual connection, the narrative introduces the book's most unique literary device, which the report calls factory literacy.
Okay, yeah, this is the part that really tripped me up. I get that if you lose your sight, your hearing gets better.
Sure, the typical sensory compensation.
But here, he hasn't lost his sight. Society has lost the ability to see him. So why does his sense of smell take over? How does a story told in scent replace the fundamental human need to be seen and touched?
Think about the biology for a second. Vision is processed in the visual cortex, right? It's highly analytical, highly data-driven, but scent. The factory bulb has direct neural pathways to the amygdala and the hippocampus.
Which are the emotion and memory centers.
Exactly, the emotion and memory centers of the brain. The protagonist is denied the visual feedback loop of human interaction. When he smiles, no one smiles back.
That's heartbreaking.
When he cries, no one reacts. The visual world stops providing emotional validation. So to survive, his brain violently overcompensates.
It latches onto smell.
Right. It latches onto the most primal, unfilterable emotional anchor available to a human being. Scent.
That makes so much sense. It doesn't replace the connection, it memorializes it. His brain is frantically searching for proof that he exists in a world that absolutely refuses to acknowledge his presence.
And structurally, the way Jawhar executes this is fascinating. The report notes how he lets poetry breathe through prose.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
He uses highly rhythmic, sensory language to heighten the tension of these deeply human experiences. He is deliberately contrasting the cold, hard, logistical terror of the high adrenaline thriller sequences with these intimate, overwhelming factory memories.
So the memories aren't visual data points?
No, not at all. Memories in this book are entirely driven by the scent of a moment.
So you have the heart-pounding terror of dodging a thermal camera in a sterile, ozone-smelling corporate hallway, immediately contrasted by the sudden heartbreaking scent of rain on a specific street corner, or the faint, lingering perfume of someone he loves but can never speak to again.
The rhythmic language amplifies that contrast, making the spectral loneliness just palpable to the reader. Scent becomes the only tangible proof that the world he remembers even exists anymore.
Wow.
It is a profoundly melancholic way to experience life, highlighting exactly what is lost when the mirror of social judgment is completely shattered.
Which inevitably leads to the breaking point. I mean, you take this intense cocktail of absolute unchecked power.
Yeah.
You combine it with the technological terror of dodging a modern surveillance state, and you top it off with this crushing, scent-driven sensory isolation. His mind just fractures.
It has to. Nobody could withstand that.
Right. This invisible man is forced into a conflict that is incredibly deeply internal, but also shockingly geopolitical.
The editorial teaser is very explicit about this transition. It describes a civil war raging within the protagonist.
A civil war.
Yeah. This isn't a linear Marvel movie journey of a hero learning to use his powers for the greater good. We are tracking a steep, ugly descent.
Okay, so he's not a superhero.
Not at all. What begins as simple curiosity, maybe just testing the boundaries of the invisibility to see what he can get away with, rapidly devolves into what the report calls a corrosive blend of desire and entitlement.
Hearing about this descent into entitlement, it leaves me with a massive question about the author's intent here.
What do you mean?
Well, because when you can take whatever you want, you start to feel entitled to whatever you want.
Yeah.
That absolute permission to become a lesser man. So what does this all mean?
Right.
Are we watching a straight-up villain origin story fueled by unchecked ego? Or is this a tragic story about a man desperately searching for an internal true north in a world where privacy has completely eroded?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the brilliance of the novel, at least according to this internal review, is that Jawhar intentionally blurs those exact lines.
Oh, so it's both.
Yeah, it doesn't offer a simple binary of hero or villain. Let's look at how he weaves in the geopolitical mystery. The report mentions that the plot incorporates unconventional historical readings and clandestine initiatives that challenge the foundational narratives of the modern world.
Unconventional historical readings. I wanted to dig into that. What does a geopolitical mystery even look like for an invisible man? It's not like he's hacking computers from a basement.
No, he doesn't have to hack anything. He is physically walking into the rooms where powerful people think they are alone.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Think about the conversations world leaders, intelligence directors, or corporate titans have when they believe the doors are locked and the room is swept for bugs.
They show their true colors.
Exactly. He is reading classified screens right over their shoulders. He is discovering that the history presented to the public is a fabricated narrative. And the clandestine initiatives operating out of sight are what actually govern the visible world.
That expands the scope of the novel drastically. He's discovering that the institutions judging society are entirely corrupt themselves.
Completely corrupt.
No wonder his internal compass spins out of control. How can you maintain your moral integrity when you see firsthand that the people running the world have none?
And that is why the multi-genre approach works so well. Blending the psychological thriller, the techno-thriller, literary fiction, and geopolitical mystery allows the author to act as a bridge.
A bridge to what? It connects diverse readers by exploring the absolute limits of human identity. The search for that internal true north is fraught with failure, with that corrosive entitlement. But it's also a deeply tragic struggle.
Yeah, you can't help but pity him a bit.
Right. He is trying to find meaning when he has been completely erased from the board, only to find out the board itself is rigged.
It's a struggle to figure out who you are when there is literally no one there to tell you. And the people you used to look up to are revealed to be monsters behind closed doors.
Exactly.
This deep dive has been absolutely gripping. To summarize what we've unpacked from this report today, The Man Who Vanished is clearly far more than just a sci-fi thriller about sneaking around.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a fluid, sophisticated cautionary tale designed specifically for our digital age.
It forces us to confront the reality of our own morality by exposing the mechanisms behind it. It asks us to look closely at the choices we make, not just when the mirror is removed, but when the systems watching us are so pervasive, they dictate our every move.
The ultimate takeaway here is that what defines you is not the power you wield or the advanced digital systems you can hack to hide yourself. What defines you are the choices you make when you are absolutely certain that no one is watching.
Such a powerful thought.
As the report says, if you sense a missing weight in the world, this narrative is an essential exploration of the very edges of human identity.
The death of accountability truly is the ultimate test, and very few of us would actually pass it.
We really wouldn't. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over on your own. We've talked a lot today about what happens to your morality when society can no longer see you. But consider this. In our modern, hyper-connected, hyper-surveilled world, if you actually manage to vanish entirely from all digital and physical surveillance.
If you just completely disappear.
Right. If there was zero data left of you, no camera footage, no digital footprint, no social reflection whatsoever, would you even still exist in a meaningful way to society?
That is terrifying.
Or is that missing weight? The book talks about simply the terrifying realization that our identities today only exist because we are constantly being watched.